push out for the vehicle. They might want to go for that north one and secure that before Team Yo.
As standard could be for the circle here from Rondo. So, yeah. And again, it's actually a big problem for the rest of the lobby because Twisted Mind and Na'Vi have an incredible win record from these locations. And then once the circles bear down on these kinds of spots, it makes it even more apparent. As for Virtus Pro, they're slacking a little bit on the start of everything. But, that can happen. Teams can have a bad 3 games here and there. But if you think back to when they were having a crazy games and crazy day, all of it really culminated here near Test Track when they were able to defeat Twisted Minds after pushing through Neox Factory in that previous week.
It's not really firing on all cylinders, are they? But I suppose they can have moments of glory, rises to glory, as we say. We'll have to wait and see. Na'Vi, on the other hand, though, have started so well. 45 points here, and we're on game 4, the penultimate game here for day number 1.
Lovely
And Ferris
forehead.
is so locked in, you can't even see his eyes. Eyebrow Ferris.
It's the Gustav angle, if you recall.
Yes.
Yeah, and then
They've got to deal with that now in NA.
yeah, idiots. But at the same time, hey, of course, PAS is going to be happening as well here throughout the weekends, and Falcons is basically going to be defending their championship from last time around, right? So
Yeah.
Gustav clearly a good pickup, as much as we've inflicted them on the Americans.
He's good. I'm glad he's gone. I'm glad to say he's gone. He's only gone to the other side of the pond. We're going to see him still. But I think he's had a big impact, though, on construction workers, obviously, leaving. And good to see. Obviously, they didn't qualify for the first week. They are qualified here now for the second week, and they are kind of finding their way. But a definite impact.
Yep.
But I'm really happy for him. He's on the Falcons. I think that team's going to be really interesting to see how they kind of play out the rest of the 2026.
Especially on LAN, right? I'm actually a bit distraught about the Gustav situation because he was playing some games with Tiggleton, and I was in the chat trolling away as I do, and I said, they were talking about the sensitivity that they changed to and stuff like that I messed around with, and Gustav had said he changed to low sense, and I said in the chat, it's a good job he's changed to low sense because his brain is low sense. Anyway, Tiggleton relayed that information to him, and then he was really nice to me, and I was like, oh, for God's sake, I'm throwing zingers your way, and you're being nice to me after the fact. This is ridiculous. I love those boys.
It's not how the banter works, lads.
Oh, come on, hit me back. Call me a ginger, I don't care.
I love it. I was always told if you can't play your cast, and that's why we're sitting here.
That is very, yeah.
So, for the other side of things, though, for teams that are playing, though, STG, a start, and maybe not the strong start that they wanted, but they are sitting down on that lower side. That is drawn up between them, Hive, and Team Nemesis. And again, Nemesis worries me, a team which is expected to be higher, but haven't got the car rolling just yet.
No, not at all. They're showing us signs I can't read, all right? Like, observers. This is ridiculous. Normally, it's either the Miramar, El Diablo,
El Calaraso.
Yeah, no, Miramar's done for today, isn't it?
Yeah.
We had the good old picture of Avenger though before with his big headphones. That was good. We're having a lot of fun here.
I wonder what people prefer, the El Calaris or the headphones, Martin. We'll have to
100% the headphones, Martin. Come on.
Get the poll in chat, I think.
That man can hear the future. We've just realised.
Well, he's a bit off. He hasn't got the bloody zone. He asked him for it. Or he's keeping it close to his chest. He didn't want to give it away. We know what Martin's like. He can be a bit sneaky.
Mm-hmm. No doubt. And see if Vitality can be sneaky. They're trying to thread the needle over on this west side between some of these teams at the moment. Although Ascend is coming in north of them, so they're going to have to be a bit careful. Maybe there'll be some shots traded, blow for blow. There's no slacks just south of them as well. So they're definitely trying to wiggle on through.
So we're going through now. As it is going to be about sort of that positioning that you get from this zone. Interesting. We see Rashido Wildcats very much on the north side. They're going to have a free reign. I like STG's position on that south to southeast because they were trying to hold out. PGG chasing down VP. VP have constantly been in early engagement. Now, admittedly, the last game they were taking the third party, but this time Beamy's losing a bit of traction. He's lost 2 wheels. He's able to keep it straight. But for Presenti, the question is, does he chase it down? And Beamy is not a player you want a blind push.
I can't imagine having to try and drive that out of danger's way. Yeah, poor Beamy. But he does manage to get out. And he, you know what? To the salvation of a Pico, the haunting presence of a Pico, the strength of a Pico. Oh, I'm okay with that. Correx has done him good there.
Keep the bodies up. No slack though. Finding the bodies still find safety, but no slack already here. They reposition now here in the cars, working their way in. Actually though has been split off, and I feel like a bit of a 1v1 battle between him and Hello My Bad. He's heard the footsteps go around, but forget about that. Nixie though didn't like that his boy was chased, and he went punishing us. Lucarux does a 180.
Just a straight headshot on the drive-by. That was actually disgusting from Nixie. As I say, he might be mad now after having a bit of a rough time in the previous games. Not bad at all. Helmet flying right on off there for PGG. And this is all on the south side at the moment of this circle. So you would suspect that this is not going to be prime real estate for some of these teams. They want to get a move on anytime soon, but they do know that here come the reinforcements as well. I think PGG was trying to reposition maybe to try and get themselves a blue chip back if VP was leaving, but VP reinforced the position. So there ain't going to be any blue chip anytime soon for the boys.
I think that's a statement. I think that's a statement that you're not going to push us away from our area. And I think the VP are flexing their muscles, and you got to answer that call. Now they can position themselves to the south. Construction workers coming in that southwest corner as well. Do they get caught up, although, on this aggressive stance that the Polar Bears have taken? And so far, a lot of the other teams, though, just a little bit of early engagement, a couple of shots backwards and forwards, but mostly everyone is in position now, and a lot of teams taking a wide position.
Still just the Bushido Wildcats coming in north, but at the same time, I think that they know that there's probably some room on the north side of this circle, right? Based on the playing path, based on where the circle popped, based on everybody's kind of trajectories into a circle like this, I think Bushido Wildcats feels no pressure whatsoever to approach the north side of a circle. Construction Works, on the other hand, on the south side, is trying slowly to make some choices, as they might have been trading some loot here and there before actually moving on in. You know, you want to be fully prepared, fully kitted, ready to go.
I think as you enter the zone, you've got like a 4 cars driving towards you. It's like, oh, let's go back. This may be not the entry point that we want to take.
Yeah, VP, yeah.
We are 47 seconds away before we see where this phase goes. So at least for construction workers, they should be in transit as the zone hits, and that would allow them kind of maybe some of the time have a bit of a head start to some of the teams that might have already been positioned down. The other way to do a head start is an emergency pickup from Team Vitality. So good timing for them. They're in the southwest corner, so that will be going straight across test track. So they should be ready to go, and they'll be able to make the decision pretty quickly whether we want to take it or stay.
They know that if this goes north, they are aiming for the high ground, and they're poised to be the ones to take the pillar if it actually occurs. So this could, in theory, yield a lot of kill points for them if the circle goes that way. And again, it's the perfect timing where they can abandon it if it doesn't go that way. So let's see.
Look at everyone driving as well. Oh my God, it goes
They
heavy.
have to go to the pillar. They have to go to the pillar. Surely.
They're the only team to potentially take it as well. They have gone for it as well, so they are now airborne. But look at the migration from the south. Ninox Factory, though, is just on the south side. I think a lot of these teams in the south expected to go there into the fields where they are now. But there's going to be huge amounts of kind of jousting as these teams have to find entry points on the south side of the zone.
I think Vitality's licking their lips, man. I think that they know that there's a huge opportunity here for them to be able to get a lot of points on board if these teams have to position around those pillar positions. Let's see, though, if they do opt to go for that. But now PGG going to be driving on past, so is S2G as well. Everybody driving past Test Track and Neox. The thing is that teams are going to try and take residency underneath the pillar as well on a circle like this. And that means that actually it sort of defends that position from other teams around. If this comes to pass here for Vitality, I'm really interested to see what they do.
It's kind of an agreement, isn't it? Like, they sit below, people can't get to the base, they know they're protected from the gods above. Team Vitality are going for the high ground, so they have jumped now, so they are making the play for the high ground. I think arguably that is the only play that they've got, and actually that's going to skyrocket them into a position. They're in third at the moment. Let's see if they can manage the potential kills from that point. Jog Benito does find, though, no slack. It will be confirmed out. Bolty 1-2. Construction workers, though, go full send as they do thread the needle between kind of our team Nemesis and Fnavi.
So Vitality took a few shots. They did indeed take the top of the pillar, so they had to just heal a little bit. But now they know that they have got a position of strength here at the moment as Jog Benito. Simon does get knocked here from a distance. Has to move on away from that window. That was the one line of sight, actually, that anybody had on this compound, and he got knocked from it. So that's unfortunate there, as now Vitality has been able to take the spot. It's like the Eye of Sauron looking down on Mordor for the rest of these teams. You don't want to be caught in the eye.
Obviously, it's phase 2, you've got phase 3, but the water in the northeast corner might have a big impact here. Look, it's a roll of the dice. I think for them, they're in such a good spot. They just need to try and hold on to another zone and then farm the amount of long distance. They need teams to come closer to them. There's a little bit of a valley in front. Failing that, James, they're going to farm so much information. They're going to understand the lay of the land when it comes to this mid-game.
Of course, there is always the problem of eventually circles are likely to shift away from it, right? So you've got to weigh up the risk reward of everything, right? Okay, yeah, we can shoot at everything, but we might have to move. That being said, though, we have seen circles have a hard time drawing and then it being included in phase 4 onwards anyway, even this same pillar, Mark, right?
And I say, this is that pillar. Remember, we saw that split from VP on the south side. It plays across to the east. Then we have to get rid of the water because there's not much more remaining. It holds onto the pillar. And then if we even want to go a little bit more to the west there, we've got the valley in between the two high grounds. Not quite a pillar in the west, but that valley is going to allow a team to kind of anchor down. Oh my God, talk about anchoring down. Scav, though, finds a mortar positioned right on top of his head. Now comes the secondary. It's at max distance, though, and it is being sent to the heavens.
The fact that that's 700 meters is...
Oh my, it's like a homing missile.
What? The fact that he just hit a 700-meter mortar shot is absolutely barbaric.
Not just one, but 3, 4, all into the same place.
Holy.
Yeah.
That's rare. You don't get that often. That's crazy. Okay, well, that's a scary circle shift, because now we feel like it's not going to be holding on to the pillar. There is room for this circle elsewhere, right? In theory.
I don't know. I think Vitality are happy here. Jedrock's just go to the top side.
Go north, yeah.
That position that they've got, they just need to keep an eye on anyone mass migrating across towards the east. Teams might want to come late and rotate around. But again, it's going to be a bit of a joust off here. We're going to see teams go head to head. It's a bit more of a race now, as Virtus Pro yet again, though, getting caught up on migration.
Yes, indeed. All right, yeah, destroy all the bamboo. Get it out of there. Jeez Louise. Okay, but yes, this is definitely one way to traverse some of the terrain at the moment here. What are the pandas going to eat now? As now Kirexi here, he's looking to feast on a few kills against Ascend at the moment. It's Chris on the bridge, kind of getting lit up there for a moment. And here come the reinforcements, taking down Kiliakai in the backside as well. This is good stuff by Virtus Pro. They've got to get themselves back on the board here in terms of the points.
Might not be Pandas this round, it might be the Polar Bears. And for Kiliakai, he's got caught out and he's going down. Oh my God, Beamy gets his Chris distance though, as they're trying to find safety. Gets that confirmation where he can. And for the rest of the Sendo, they might have a win, but they're going to try and eke something out as a 2-man.
Vitality has totally gambled on the idea of this circle going north now and actually stayed, came back in and went to the pillar after they've all now left from the pillar position. So definitely a lot of people eyeing up those northern positions. Mogor hitting Yoga Benito with a mortar as well. Baron kind of cleaning things up, and it looks like Wildcats is on what is a pseudo pillar position, right? They're up alongside the one on the west side here. Yeah. So technically they can shoot a lot of people moving past them, but they don't quite have the position of power that they would want, but they do have a BRDM.
Yeah, you go even without the BRDM, these teams, that sort of momentum, they're going to lose it coming from the west because of the steepness of the terrain that they have to traverse coming up. So for Bushido, they're kind of relying on that as teams work their way up. The problem they have is going to be the high ground versus high ground. They're going to take and farm damage across the other side. They just want to keep this BRDM safe and just watch anyone that kind of comes in from the west.
This next circle is going to be very telling. Slapson also mortar in hand. Everybody's trying to line up the big shots, aren't they? Seeing if they can try and catch out Twisted Minds coming in from Test Track, of course, as they needed some kind of checkpoint positions to go to. It was already cleared up here by Perfectix and Betulins to allow the others to eventually move on forwards.
Water's coming back though. Twisted Minds let them know that got things zeroed in. Be cautious though, as they are going to spread out. That's going to give them some terrain. Pretty much everyone else has migrated towards that north. They'll be happy. One of the final teams now on the south. Joga Benito just finding safety. As Ferris getting information now where Team Nemesis is, but you got to remember, obviously, as you mentioned before, Staido is on the high ground. There's that north shift of Team Vitality making that call. And now they actually had the hard cover.
Yeah, it's actually kind of crazy because if Vitality ended up having anybody crash on them a little bit earlier on as well, you've got the res station there straight away. So just in case something was to go down, you're even safe in that regard into some of the even the later moments of this game. As now, yeah, Panzerfaust's in hand. I think everyone realizes that there's going to be a lot of movement coming in from the south side. So everybody's got their things ready to go to try and greet teams as they do move forward. Kennis providing information. Levante knocks Michael in the distance as well because Yo is being shot at by multiple teams here. They need to get some fortification down, and they are doing with some of this deployable cover.
Yeah, I feel like Kessie was trying to have a look to see if that knock was in front of him. I don't think he's got the information yet of who that is. Shots are coming in. Obviously, their grenade would have gone off. I think they would have given him that confirmation of who it was. So Sidney though with the M249 takes the knee, takes the belly down as he wants to try and control that recoil as the team. Na'Vi will rotate his way around. Get caught and lose momentum. It's so steep. Well, he takes the face full of bullets in return.
Not too much done just yet, and also actually he doesn't have that much ammo for an M249, just so you're aware. He had like 150 bullets, yeah, but on an M249 that goes quick, so you're gonna have to be a bit careful.
Oh my god,
another mortar. This is just Mortars the video game. Are we playing Worms?
This is yeah, more kills from Mortars. That needs to come up on one of the stats. You have to wait and see though. Only one's come through from Team Vitality. There's no follow-up, so for Team Yo they have able to get the body back up. For Ascend, they do back away now as they go back the way they came from. Twisted Minds, though, losing not just one but two as Perfectix and Lou is down. That's the construction workers. Big example, able to get back at Naylor, though. Dante on the digital side, though. Pick's going to be dead. Grenade bounce off his head onto the car and nearly in the way. But it's going to be not just a molly, it's the shots that come through from Dante. And this is the problem when you go down and you dig deep. You dig deep for the holes of the grenade.
Proper destruction for construction workers. An absolute demolition crew coming in and taking down their buildings. This is brutal. As for now, Hive also kind of buzzing around on this side, trying to see if they can get in, but the circle is pushing them at the moment. Example's trying to hold them out alongside the boys here from Twisted Minds. Zodi Batulin's on that north side. I think still he has a bit of a position for an anchor point. Now it's up to Example to do something he doesn't realize on the right-hand side there. Dante was there to take him on out, and he was also moving into the smoke. Batulin's is going to tuck tail and leave.
I love that Twisted Minds, that they build momentum. You see them getting going, and a team comes by and goes, "No, we're not letting you guys activate. We want to keep you down numbers." Batulin's has to disengage now. He's the final player. He's going to find himself centralized zone as we go back towards the fight on the south, which is Team Nemesis versus Na'Vi. This has been continuing not just this game, but for Nemesis, they're on the low side of the leaderboard. They're only on 8 points. They're desperate, eager to try and find more.
Yeah, this is not the first day that they wanted. Not only that, it's not the first day that they're capable of, right? Like, they're capable of so much more than this. As now, Hive still moving in. They've got Yoga Benito, I think, on their heels a little bit. But at the same time, Bushido Wildcats is moving to a position where they might be able to shut them down completely. That might save Hive on the retreat outside the south side.
They are chasing around, and again, it feels like more of these teams driving the same way. That's a great nade, bounce off the tree, and 2-0 finds Lucarux. Nixie back onto his feet. Have to try and post. He's 2-0 trying to post the shots of the M249. Unable to get a connection. More grenades coming forward, though. Nixie launches forward. Beamy launches forward for the res. And for Storm on request, they've got to try and find an angle. They've got to try and find an opening, but they found a confirmation at least.
Yeah, Hive unfortunately gets completely annihilated as Yoga Benito didn't want anything from Bushido Wildcats. And now with the Storm on request boys here in the north side, they're going to have to hold off quite the torrent of aggression coming in from Virtus Pro. Nixie, as I said, he must be mad after the performances in the first couple of games. And they know that they can be a true force. Oh, speaking of force, an absolute obliteration there of 2-1-0. Now here comes Panzerfaust as well. Beamy coming around the corner, seeing what he can actually find. Open up the door, coming around, sees the burning car with a grenade and absolutely lighting up Hosian.
Look at Nixie. He's just charging. He's eager to get kills.
Yeah.
Pushing forward. Shots will come through. Crexy does the damage again. Jumps out the window. It should be a confirmation. Stormer on crest where they're blown aside as the Polar Bears now find themselves on 7 kills up to 8th place.
Yeah, that wasn't just choppy waters. That was just tsunami hitting Storm on request there from Virtus Pro. That was terrifying. A lot going on the other side as well. S2G getting obliterated here by Celtic. Jogger Benito now. I mean, they were on the south side trying to come in what was a very open area into some of these teams, so it was not really going to work on out. Sphero finished Hakatori. I guess he might have been in the line of fire. Yeah, okay, through these smokes, I kind of understand it. Really not much that they could have done there. And now, Nemesis, a few points on the board and 4 alive on the south side. They're slowly trying to make something of this.
Yeah, again, they haven't. If you look at the kill feed, they keep having things stolen away from them. They're on 2 kills so far. They're up to 9 points, but they were refusing to let Na'Vi go. Steve, though, will try and find the reinforcements and maybe reinforce Diffix, as he should be able to see the cars rotating in from Bushido Wildcat. So, again, worried. Nemesis might be getting a little bit of tunnel vision. But for now, as long as they keep 4 bodies up, and now they also keep the zone, it might be a good conversion for a game for them.
I don't mind those central spots-ish. It's that they went too early on and now are trying to kind of hold on to. But of course, these shifts have made things a bit weird, right? With the road still intersecting a lot of this. As Batulins, Tony Hawk Pro Skater, what are we up to?
Whatever one this one is. It does feel like it. More fire coming forward. Virtus Pro, 7 kills. Again, they're looking to try and convert this penultimate game here. It is match 4 out of 5 for day 1. So I suppose a last attempt to close the day out or have a salvation game. I think it's the only way really to put Team Nemesis day 1 so far as to where they stand. A win, a handful more kills. It's going to really change the leaderboard.
Yeah, if they can somehow wiggle in, they've still actually got like deployable cover as well here to Virtus Pro. The only problem is can you get rid of Yo, who is very much entrenched in here? They got here super early. They've had a time and a half to be able to prepare for any kind of encroachment onto their territory. So let's see if they can hold them off, because that's going to have to surely be the next opportunity here from Virtus Pro to do something. Do they have mortar shots? Yes, they do. 120. I think it's too... I think even just the minimum range is a little too far to be able to deal with Yo. We'll see, though. It might catch Michael on the end.
I was looking who's the furthest out.
It's too far.
So it is in the right distance for Michael, but they can't. They're looking for that original smoke. They're looking kind of at James and Cappy position. They don't try and find it. James does find Nix as he charges forward. Beamy a little bit further back now. Does have the information to scrap that. Beamy does go down. JS9 PWD, you cheeky devil. And it's 1 polar bear remains. Correxy has to charge forward. Lucky enough for them, they're looking back in towards zone. They have to fixate and focus and stop Bushido Wildcats.
That's a cross-circle knock from Melman against Yo. So you really see how open their position is. Melman actually completely finishes him off as well. So huge knock-on effects here from Melman from all the way over the other side of this circle. James shuts down Nixie, though. That's Virtus Pro really on their last legs here against Yo's spot. Man, if only they'd have had 10 more meters to their name for that mortar shot to be able to actually completely dislodge Yo. That would have been huge for Virtus Pro. But it's like just a moment of like, just too little too late, right? They just didn't have the information on exactly where they were. And by the time Blue's pushing, you don't want to go for the reposition.
The thing is, their position at the moment is not in zone, so they have to leave. Correct? He's just going to try and wait this one out. So he's mostly got the meds to try and hold. If he gets the intel that they run, it's phase 6. You don't want to be tanking the blue. And for Team Yo, they want to close again. Another team want to close this day out pretty well. Vitality with their emergency pickup towards the hardcover. They wait for the zone. They control it perfectly as it comes back their way, and they get underneath the noses of Team Nemesis.
Well, this is the game for sure to have the catch up on Na'Vi, right? I mean, as much as they did, 1 or 2 points on that south side, it's still a chance here for their Vitality and Twisted Minds to really catch on up. Twisted Minds, it's kind of ridiculous to have just Batulins an example as alive for as long as they were, and then only now Batulins 9 kills from where they were coming in from in a salvage game. They just show their consistency. They might not have won the first finals weekend, but man, they're so good.
Yeah, it's just that, as you see, Chris does go down towards blue. You can see this kind of every game, Twisted Minds sort of dial things up. They start to build speed. A better team shuts them down pretty quickly. But every game so far, they put a good number of points on. 9 so far for this game. We are in a top 6 scenario here. So they are in the placement points. And for Team Nemesis, again, a team which is more of a salvation. Yo, Nemesis. And for the other side of things, Twisted Minds, Vitality, looking to challenge the top.
aside from the 2 kills that they've got, I do feel for Yo in having what was a very strong central spot, surviving as well. And now they're going to have to really get rid of Ascend. If they do get rid of Ascend, it's not too bad to be able to play this side of the road for the moment, but then they still need to make moves later on down the line here. PWD moving forward with the JS9, trying to find the off angle against all of this. Nemesis from the other side also hitting shots, and Levante shuts down everything that Bushido Wildcats was doing. So taking that ridge line that they seized on the south side of their compound is very important.
The zone pushes his way in. The eyesights for Team Nemesis get pushed back, though. Cappy finds T-Bone. Confirmation done. PWD knows where he is. Jump shot, JS9, and takes the foxhole. Ascend will fall in 5th place. It's a salvation for them, but it's a 4 versus 4, and then 2 dangerous solos now. And PWD in the foxhole on the west side.
Yeah. And now the rest of this lobby has to fight off against one another. There is little opportunities. I wonder if he even has a pickaxe. He could dig himself a little bit further forwards if he wanted to, maybe. The only problem is that as soon as he reveals himself, there's still some of these high ground spots, like Soset has, for example, that will instantly see him. And they will be keeping tabs. Even though they need to deal with the threats underneath them, they will be keeping tabs on him.
But Vitality's position is so good as well, because they're going to go underneath. If they can stop Team Nemesis coming off the higher ground, Vitality are going to put a sting to this game, right?
Is in the bush.
If Battalions had a pickaxe, that would be an OP area, right? You dig down, bush on top, it's like camouflage. PWD, he definitely will have a pickaxe because old Ascent had one. And that's how they dug into that position with Keta.
True. Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. Man, again, the bushes on Tego and Rondo are just built different compared to Erangel and Miramar. Question mark. Is there any bushes on Miramar? It's very barren, but there is a little bit. But I mean, the fact is that Batulins is very obscured. Look, you can see it's a very thick shrubbery.
Everything's blooming for the penultimate game. It's definitely not blooming for PWD. As the smoke does bloom in front of him, but I think everyone will take a pause and watch. Team Nemesis obviously do have to juggle coming off this high ground here. So Sadid has a look in towards the bush, but we had the X-ray. He hasn't got quite the X-ray that we have. I think he'll be waiting for a little bit of movement. The car maybe further afield gives away a little bit, but not enough.
No, indeed. If we get the chance observers and he actually looks down there again, we should turn X-ray off and show exactly what you can see pixel-wise. Admittedly, they play with different graphic settings to our pro players than what we're seeing here. But as you look just down there, I mean, cannot see through that. It is so obscured.
He has to move, not as much as PWD playing whack-a-mole as he jumps out to try and see which way he wants to try and go towards zone. Grenades going out to try and find himself a new foxhole, but he makes the run on the blue. He takes the damage, and it's going to be for Team Nemesis that'll get the final blow. Kill free read is going to be important. These teams will know there's a solo, and that solo is not just anyone, it's Batulins.
Yeah, I mean, if the fights go very aggressive and everyone gets knocked at the same time, there's a world where he does even something more from this. Nobody's paying attention to it at all. This is a huge fight. Soset going crazy with the M249 on the driver. That's 2. That's 3. There's no way. Soset's going absolutely radio rental.
He's got nuke, you know, the discipline not to re-peek out that car and wait. He's been able to try and dislodge Team Vitality, exposed, and he's just found 10 kills. A salvation game so far from Team Nemesis.
Oh my God. And this is why we said at the beginning of the day that Nemesis here has crazy potential coming out from this. They'll check the bush when they're finished with Vitality. Both of these teams playing from the pillar in the end get themselves top 3. As So said now, looking for the lurk, realizing where that last remaining player is, stayed on the off angle as well. The Toolins, he's going to try and go for a kill and a flush as soon as Vitality's gone.
Yeah, I think he's ready for the kill feed. I think you're right. He's tracking what he wants to do. He knows that he wants to eke out not just the one, but the second. There it goes. Now we should see him activate. There goes the activation. Now he finds one, and it's one and done. Team Nemesis will spin their shoe. It comes from 15th place, all the way flying up, though. 13 kills, 23-point game.
I noticed, though, and I gotta say, Ferris had more damage done so far in the 4 games we've had than Hagatari. That's a huge up for Ferris.
Yeah, that is massive. And let's get to it then. It's our final game of the day. It's been a great day so far. let's round it out with a banger. Not a game 6, game 5, please, for the rest of these teams. Unless, Mark, you know what? We just throw caution to the wind, and actually this playing path looks very similar to our first Erangel, but just the opposite direction, so we'll see.
Which return is the return flight home, back from holiday? It is going to be game 6, game 5 antics. It always is. It always is. They never let us down. It might start a little bit slower, but there are teams that want to close out this day actually with a very strong points, and there are the other side of the teams like Na'Vi that might want to put an extension on. And the only way to go and do that is get as many kills as you can.
They would be looking for it, especially up against construction workers, right? Maybe they could hire them to put the extension on for what's going on. They're right next to one another, so unfortunately for construction workers, they've not been able to do much more than do a little bit of building here and there. And then, as I say, everyone comes and tears it down. It has been a bit rough. As for now, where is our circle going to go? 5 seconds. Not military, please. Don't do it.
Let's go north.
Oh.
There you go. Not bad. Yes. All good. Team Vitality, home turf. Yo, again, they've been aggressive when they've been chasing people, but now they're going to find the zone. So interesting to see actually maybe if they hold out that kind of prison area. For other teams, they've got to chase their way in. Storm request, PGG up on that kind of east bridge. When do they come over? Nemesis on that north side. When do they play down and round and ascend? Obviously go for that alternate drop up by Stauber. So again, when do they play down from the north?
Yeah, good question. Good question for sure. Imagine if Nemesis comes in late, we get a south shift, then they're coming in on that far east side again, and people just camp them. You can't be too predictable. That said, though, right, where Soset is on kind of no lean, and then that could be an easy transition path for them, and then just kind of be a bit more tight on your rotation compared to wide. We'll see. We'll see down the line. But for now, good old no slack. It's not really been the greatest of days for them to start things off. I think that the weight of a lobby like this comes in at you hard sometimes, right? And as much as you could have had some great days in the past, and I think that still, individually, I think there's some really awesome talent on this roster as well. It is sometimes hard to keep it all together day to day to day to day when you've got Na'Vi firing, you've got Twisted Minds firing, you've got Vitality firing. Just veterans of lands as well as these regionals.
Yeah, and Levante's been those kind of rivals the whole time. Like, he's holding that team. But again, big shout for Ferris, as Martin said. Like, that's huge. We're seeing this kind of era of IGLs that are big hitters, as well as making these critical calls and controlling the team and controlling the comms. So how things are played out is changing this year.
Yeah, it is. Things are getting different. Things are getting, I would honestly, like, I would say more competitive this year. Hey, whoa, wait, whoa. And we flipped it.
Ouch.
What was that little observer wiggle?
The powers of the observer put the card down.
It's crazy. Okay, hit it. Oh, I want to see if it flipped. It's fine. We're over at prison.
I felt a bit for STG, though. Like,
it worked. No, wait, what?
It's just not got going. Just not getting. Gave them some criticism on that sort of qualifiers, and they came out swinging with the squad as it is. Right, Lazar was playing at that point, so I don't think they found their play style at the moment with this style of lobby, especially in the finals, and especially over that Turkish region. It's normally quite aggressive plays, or they will go for a center compound. So are they trying to reinvent what actually works for them? I'm not quite sure.
Well, I will say, for the Turkish region, obviously S2G was the direct invite for PGS 1 and 2. I guess specifically because S2G, the organization, very big in PUBG Mobile. They were previous world champions in PUBG Mobile, for people that didn't know. And then they came in with this roster. They're very well known in Turkey as a whole. However, I will say, or I believe, what we've seen so far from our PEC, and unfortunately not a very great performance from S2G in PGS's 1, 2, and 3. I think Bushido Wildcats upstaged them a little bit in our PEC from weeks to weeks. I think they've just looked better as the Turkish team coming out, when S2G should, in theory, as the one that was invited straight to the PGSs, should be the one to look the best out of the region, right? But that's not been the case here.
No, I can't argue. I can't argue with you. It seems to be a fight for the best Turkish team, right? The fight for the West Bridges. VP might be using Martin's headphones to lure in a team for a wider rotation, as they are praying to go that way. Storm Request would be that team, as they might be looking towards the east and have a understand that actually PGG might be waiting there, but we know because we've got the map feed that they have moved on already.
And actually, just to put a button on that as well, like obviously S2G is also going to our next circuit, right? They're also invited to that for PGS, and I think that they're going to have to do some big work between now and then, and it's not long. It's really not long before we get the PGS
weeks, right?
4, 5, and about like 10 days or something like that, I think. So it's they need to do some big work.
I just think it's game style. I generally do.
You think
I
so?
feel like I don't think they feel like they know what they want to play. We know before historically, we know they used to send to center zone. They used to take compound. They used to hold it. They then became quite an aggressive team. I feel like with the change to TPP, they've not figured out how they want to play. I'd argue to say a center zone, hard cover with the red zones, with the grenade and structure with terrain will play in their favor. I'm just surprised that we're not seeing them be a bit more aggressive and take hard cover.
Well, you're in the best region to practice for something like it. That's for sure. The competition here is fierce. Fairest has been extremely fierce all through the day, as Martin said it himself. Out-damaging Hakatori. Fairest here. Just fantastic stuff. I mean, I think that even on previous rosters that Fairest has been on, right, we were very impressed by his abilities on those. He just wasn't surrounded by, you know, titans and prodigies like he is now on Na'Vi. So sometimes it's hard to actually like shine when you're alongside Hakatori and Boostic, but he has, and that's awesome.
Yes, he has. Have to wait and see. He should close out this day. I do lean into this. Is everyone else now chasing Na'Vi? Well, we know there's a couple of teams up there that want to say no. I'd even say, even down to Nemesis, a good finish here with a handful of kills will put you on top, and that's a massive confidence boost, though, coming off the back of a day number 1 with 10 games left to play.
Yep. There is still a lot of time, a lot of room. At least nobody's running away with it quite like Virtus Pro was in our first final so far. There they are. Coming in slow and steady on the south side. I think that, of course, 18 points for them here across the day is not the best of things, but we've seen that they can quite easily just come out and then suddenly say, well, you know what, we'll have a 70-point day. In a lobby like that. And then, you know, they're right back up there, so...
Is the danger. That is the danger. Hive rotating their way in. They've got free space in front of them now. Obviously, the closest team is going to be that Twisted Minds location that we saw before. Let's start with they're pushing over towards that petrol garage. No slack. Obviously, coming over towards that top. So, again, lots of movement. VP disengaged from the West Bridge. Storm and Request goes towards the east. So, again, lots of teams going for more of a centralized spot.
I think Ascend is set up in such a way. Again, I said it last time around.
Nemesis.
I said where they knew that they were going to be coming along here eventually, if it does happen. They're already shaking shots north. They know a team's up there, and they know who it is because they know these rotation paths. It's one of, unfortunately, in these eastern circles, one of the most predictable paths that a team is going to take. So maybe they can take that fight. We'll see if the circle does shift in their favor.
When you get muscle memory, especially for like early rotation, like he is very consistent, and obviously we're lucky enough that we get to watch a lot of this as well, so we'll pick out the trends. These guys have teams behind them, analysts that be doing the same. So if you're a team that's fighting for the top of the leaderboard, you can get an early knock, especially a team that's chasing you down. No wonder why. We've seen it from Ascend before. We know they like to try and close teams out, chase teams down, because they constantly think about their leaderboard. So I think you're 100% right. Nemesis, though, they need to have a couple of other tricks up their sleeve. Like when they know teams will be around them, they also need to understand that people are predictable and they should be expecting a team ahead of them, like a team Ascend.
Yeah, especially since Ascend is one of the teams that has the best opportunity to set this up, right? Because they're just dropping north of this. But that changes things completely. And Ascend is straight in their cars. You could see them getting in. So is a lot of those teams on the eastern side. And Nemesis is not doing the, in inverted commas, predictable transition that they would have done if the circle had gone more east. So now they're going to be ducking in probably above Yasnaya, or maybe even going all the way around to the west side and trying to use one of those bridges to duck on in. But This means that a lot of teams are now trying to congregate, are in that middle positions here to try and make something work. Ooh, hello.
Vard might have just got away with it. PWD does get a couple of damage, but he gets put back into his bunker. Big shot, actually, FTG actually taking centralized zones. So they have taken that spot now, and here comes the crash. A lot of these teams are going to have to force jump shot, but it doesn't quite convert. Oh, he nearly gets a safety, and Storm Request have reinforcements, but so do X-How.
Yes, they do. See what they can do here. Odin Mavisi able to get them here in the last day of the playoffs. Someone request, though, getting the res off by the looks of things. The problem is as long as this goes... What? Hello?
Death from above! Man, he wanted to get down to the ground. That's the only way to do it as quick as he could, though. Storm Request, unfortunately, receiving huge amounts of damage. Does to get med back on, has to back away. Smoke will come out, but it's going to allow How to also get those reses back on. One good place nade will find potentially 3. Hits the car, gets a double re-knock.
Here goes an air all the way through onto the wall here, but still, I think Storm Request doing pretty well for themselves. Odin Mavisi, though, has to try and make this nade count. It does quite a bit of damage, but doesn't get the confirm. Oh, that was a very important nade. Oh, the car! I forgot completely about the car!
Oh, my God.
They completely forgot as well.
GG's. At least XL will be able to get this. But look at VP, they come crawling in. We spoke earlier about there's been lack of third parties. Well, Virtus Pro just arrived. They throw the blue zone straight into the smoke. Quite don't get the re-knock, but it's now forced the guys to kind of scatter like ants. And Corexi has got huge amounts of information right in front of him.
Yeah, ever the opportunists, right? Get in there. They know that they're completely wounded at the moment. Trixie knows it takes a lot of damage. Odin again, man. He is making magic happen. He is down, though. That's more nades posted on through. You can't deal with that much aggression with Virtus Pro after you're trying to scramble for the recovery. Oh, my days. I will say, though, fantastic stuff by Odin. Like, to be able to get them the points that he did there when it was looking dire, that was so important, but there was no way you were going to hold this off.
No, correctly, you forgot about the grenades as well. So run straight back out onto it. Good play, obviously, for Nixie and Beamy, applying the pressure, Beamy with the grenade, and obviously Nixie to follow. And re-smoke, we'll be able to get the res back on. The zone obviously shifted back towards that west, so for Team Yo, now maybe not the zone shift they wanted, but they did have that emergency pickup, and we saw how crucial that was for Team Vitality. In the last game. It's all about timing though, guys. When you put it down, you have to try and work on the speed at which the zone's moving in so you can make a judgment call either to be just about to be going airborne or ensuring that you are airborne and across the zone when it hits.
Yeah, I think if you look at Yo's, the actual e-pickup themselves, I think that they do have technically options. I think what they probably try and hit, or they're eyeing up right now, is craters on the south side of Yasnaya Fields. We'll see, because of course they have an opportunity to be able to read the circle once it actually pops. So that will kind of give them opportunities. Okay, so they're probably not hitting craters from that. They're probably trying and go towards a Na'Vi location, but it might be kind of dicey here.
Here comes the junkyard. You want the chaos, and we're going to get that crazy bit that's a little bit west of VP, south of Vitality, in the dip. No one's there at the moment, and all the cars are going to send it that way.
Okay.
Get the panzers, here we go.
Yes, you have some experience with the tempo dip being a bit heavy, I think it's fair to say. At the same time, though, Quizzy hits really nice shots alongside the team here, and also Yo just taking massive casualties. Unfortunately, like the whole lobby is shooting at them trying to drop in here.
Yeah.
They're gone.
As they went as quickly as they went up into the air, Yo went out 14th place for them. It's not a bad day, though. It's not a bad day for them. Their mid-pack is giving them a great foundation to kind of leapfrog away. They just need to go break down these next 10 games. Hive trying to break down the soil, so they will dig themselves a little bit more of a trench, hearing the cars rotating their way around. And for PDG, it's up on the north side here. It's Joga Benito. They go head-to-head in open terrain.
Yes, they do. Noddy trying to charge up an aid. See what can get done here. As goes for the wide around. Still comes into the building as well, though. Complete cleanup. PGG out. It's a bit of a disaster day for them. I think that they're capable of more than 14 overall. I do think with that E pickup mark, if the circle had shifted north, technically they would have had more opportunity to get down because there was just less teams in the north. But when it shifts south and there's already so many teams around that area, it really feels just too late. Like, it's already quite late in proceedings anyway. Never mind the idea that you're going into the meat grinder.
It's the timing. This was alluding to, which is the problem.
Yeah.
Pixel You know he's looking for those diamond pickaxes that you spoke about the other week.
You reckon he'll find them?
Maybe. I think it's coming. Naleb's helping.
Oh, Nail's
It's all about that timing. For Team Yo, they had options, they had vehicles, but they opted to go airborne. So it's always difficult to get down and then also get down into a dip. That's more time in the air. Well, there's some limited time in the air for this one. Scaffold launched 2 mortars. That is heading in the way, I believe, of a Team Vitality. I think he's even going to reload more. It's not, it's going for Ascend.
I didn't see the range, sorry.
It was short. Really short.
Yeah, way short. Yeah. I think it's like for Ascend here, it's not too bad a dip. Technically, one of a very strong dip as well is actually Vitality's, right? It's kind of like the little brother of the dip that Virtus Pro is currently in over at Tempo Dip, and it works really well, especially with all of the extra things that were added to the game with deployable cover. Obviously, Carforce is not a new thing, but it was the thing that was always kind of helping it out. The circle shifts. Where are we going to go? We're going into the dips.
South.
Okay, construction workers. This is an important game for you to get some points on board because it's not been the best of days.
They're on 11. They're in 14th place. A couple of points here on this game. We'll send them up before the start. Team Vitality don't need to move. Ascend don't need to move. They need to catch these teams on those rotation paths. For example, trying to just do that, looking for the tire, doesn't quite get it. And I suppose for me, actually, those mortars that were coming out from our no stack team, that was all to preempt that next move. So good play from them. They weren't looking for the team, they were looking for the position.
Did the car move from underneath him? What just happened there?
So those 2 cars are hitting, aren't they? I think.
I guess so. But he was on it and then he fell off of it without moving. Anyway, I didn't see the full picture. But anyway, yeah, it looks like Ascend still on lockdown here. I think also, again, for these kind of positions, not only digging your holes, deployable cover, very important at the moment. Everybody's just waiting for the next moves. Okay, right. Well, they understand the severity of the position that they're currently in. And actually, digging holes like this helps alleviate a little bit of the crunch down that actually happens. Unless Pixel's just going to, like, dig and try and write something in the floor because he's got a lot of time.
I would not put it past him.
Exactly, right? It's a very pixely thing to do.
Oh, my God, 100%.
That's what he's doing.
I think he's going to dig a line to catch any cars rotating over. I think he's looking for a car to flip.
Maybe.
He's going to go back to his little foxhole by the tree and hope and pray that the zones and the cars shift his way. Because that is also a very pixel thing to do. The guy who put boats inside, the guy put the bicycles to go against the door as well. He's always been a creative player with the new updates.
I think he's still digging. I think he's going to be digging this entire game. But anyway, Crossbow goes down. Oh, he's going to be digging his grave in a moment. If not, he has anything to say about it. Looking for come around that corner at the moment. 5 kills for Jogmanito. In 6th place, they've done all right for themselves, you know. The first final here for PEC as they're looking for the chase down here against Medibay. He is tucking tail and leaving, trying to go for the seat swap a little bit as well to stave them off any pressure. But Cristiani here, who's been working his bum off this week in the pubs. Good stuff by him.
Gets to find an opening mortar as the neighbours are not as friendly as they used to be. Sutter is down. They haven't found anything else. I think they're just, again, it's a bit of a guesstimation. I know a team rotated in there. They know there is the opportunity to find more, but all they've done is produce more cover for a no slack as they can now spread out. John Benito on the other side, though, 8 kills. Now VP again chasing down. Ejectocito, and it goes down. Beat me with a grenade.
What a crazy nade here, but at the same time, Yoga Benitez is not doing too bad in this fight. They do lose Simon. He's completely gone. Sapson's gone. Okay, never mind. I thought it was going to go a bit better for them, but 9 kills, nothing to sniff at. 4th place right now, but Virtus Pro is on the warpath right now. 7 kills to their name. They're kind of wounded, though. They're going to be still embroiled in a bit of a fight over here. I think it's done for them. I don't know if they're going to be able to escape Vitality. They should put the nail in the coffin.
Sure, that grenade should do it. He gets some major damage, goes back to safety spray, comes through, the splash should finish, and it is Virtus Pro. It feels like it's kills, and at the end, they get stolen away, especially when it comes down to the placements, though. Pixel still digging, as that frontline trench for construction workers might be finished now, and they have at least a path from north to south.
They know they've got to shut down Hive at the moment. I wonder if we can get a check-in on Trench Watch if things do calm down a little bit. I don't think they will at the moment here. Mogor is down. Oh, yeah, he's got to abandon the trench. He still had his pickaxe in hand. Now he's got to get the gun out. Got to shut down Hive here. As
Does he
losing
need to get
Nail
the
up at
gun
this
out?
point is problematic.
Go on, Pixel. We know we need to see a pickaxe kill.
All right, calm down.
Okay, it's worth a try. Okay. Okay. No, it's bleeding out. Vard needs to think about the cross to try and get that array. As Mogul obviously just trying to wait it out as well. As has a bit of a trench warfare. Ascend on the north side though. Have to keep an eye as IXE and the team look to encroach over. S2G does do that as they do find Scav for no slack, and they do get the confirmation as well. So again, more teams kind of pushing down from that north side. So Hive got a bit of a juggle. They have to keep our construction workers at bay, but they have to keep this migration from the north.
Not bad. Mogul still taking a bit of cover here against Pixley. It's a good molly forwards just in case he's on that. And actually, it did catch him. So he's going to have to back off and heal a little bit. Still, oh, wait. No, the mortar killed him completely. Hello? Oh, knocked him completely, I should say.
Pixel knocked. As he does back up. Twisted Minds now looking to sort of push this way. As they want to get involved, that car's going to go. So Perfectix goes and gets whatever he left in that vehicle because it was critical before it blew up. Whee! There's one go by. The trenches that come through. The P90 from Sheila, though, turns around, causes the damage. And for no slack, though, it was a good hold, but it wasn't a hold for long. 9th place, and we now enter into the placement points.
It's rough considering that they were in the conversation of trying to take some of the top spots and maybe moving on to some of the lands there for no slack. So they're really going to have to change gears in the next couple of days if they want to keep those dreams alive. Senga now does drop a few more smokes here, keeping himself cordoned off against what is going to be some aggression here from Twisted Minds. And again, we've said it many times here today, Twisted Minds is inevitable. They've been able to get themselves so many points despite no win on the board. And now another, perfect nade here against Rocks. This is the problem. They will be pinpoint accurate after pulling the pins from these nades. And another one! It never ends!
Yeah, again, they're in these dips as well, so if they can get it in and around the area with a player like Perfectix, it's a confirmation every single time. Perfectix, though, does work his way back. Level 3 vest, level 3 helmet. Smoke will go out to try and deny the opportunity, but Torden's making the call that Team Nemesis, though, is sweeping their way around on the southwest side.
Yep, yes they are. They're looking for... and the circle goes the way of Twisted Minds. This is an omen. Twisted Minds is going to end up today on first place if not everybody's not careful about this. As Perfectix now lighting up Keta and Ascend. I don't know how they're going to survive some of the aggression that's going to be coming their way, because I think S2G as well could quite easily push on the fact that that knock has happened at the moment. Schiller does peek on over. Perfectix is shooting and throwing nades at everything. Okay.
Ascender have to rely on the nosy neighbours being Twisted Mind to keep them alive. I can't see them getting that res.
Yes.
The Skillet Kite launches the grenade forward. Keta, though, is going to bleed out, and he has to try and get the information. Now comes the final grasp, and for Keta, though, he gets put on top. They use the car like Tetris to try and get the knock on Kiliakai, and Lou watches and thanks for the cover that's being produced.
Yeah, like perfect watch on it. Yeah, I didn't see the second one thrown though. Very nice there by Kiliakai. Trying to save the position of Ascend, right, who's in 5th place, 32 points, nothing to sniff at as well. But I don't think they're getting much more from this game at all. The one saving grace is the fact that Lou's a bit hard to reinforce and actually get up off of this res here for the second. Oh, and Schiller and Baron really put everything to bed here for Ascend. I think that S2G, this is absolutely the game they needed. After we kind of talked about them earlier on, right? And the hierarchy of Turkish teams at the moment, this is a much needed performance from them.
This is a climb. This is a climb. They had the compound, and now they can play from the compound. It's that mid-game. They let the seed pass by, the tide go out, and now they can control. They have to try and take on that Twisted Minds. Yeah, the zone obviously does go back towards that sort of north side, and they will try and hold. Twisted Minds won't want to try and push. They had to get rid of that Ascend in the middle. Construction workers still laying the foundations for a game that they want to try and climb the leaderboard, as Vardo is entrenched. Baron Peak does find an opening on Bertalding, so that might give him an opportunity, maybe a temptation, should we say, for S2G to push their way around.
I think if Twisted Minds gets rid of S2G, there is so much room for Twisted Minds, and that becomes a bit of a problem. Everybody on the south side is going to end up fighting. Na'Vi, big and important team, number 1 at the moment. Vitality, kind of 2-2 split at the moment with an anchor point across the road. That's very important for the eventual transition that needs to come. And I think Na'Vi realizes that, actually. I think that they're watching for that eventual transition, knowing that that will be a very important fight, even though there's so many teams near them on the northwest position from them.
So the northwest position. Na'Vi, one kill on But again, holding that south side. I wonder how much of the trenches they're aware of just in front of him. Nemesis, the same question goes for them, where they've got the ridge they can play. Ferris though wraps his way around, and Hello My Bad does get him just before he gets towards the smoke. And well, for Hakatori, he hits the anchors, he hits the brake. He's going to push some smoke out. He's going to try and deny the line of sight here for Team Vitality. On the other side of things, S2G get to watch and sit back and wait and pray there's some knocks coming their way.
Yeah, the move Ferris made makes me think that they had limited information on the anchor point that Vitality had across the road, but now they are being punished for it a little bit. And that said, though, Vitality is also going to be taking some damage here. Hakatori and the boys throwing some nades forwards. That car almost caught him there for a second. Spiro, though, does connect with another nade. This second wood could be the big follow-up he needs. Oh, and another one. That's getting hello. Oh, my God, he survives. Thank God he's lying down, just negating a bit of that damage there, Mark.
That's negated the damage at the moment, though. Na'Vi down to the final two players. Hakatori, the final one up here. And for Team Vitality, crossing over and crossing the opportunity out, those who will strike the final blow as they want to ensure Na'Vi's out so they can climb the leaderboard.
S2G wrapping on around. Let's see what they can do. Lazar and Schiller trying to come in on the back of this fight. But the fact is, it remains that Vitality still has 3 barrels that are going to be looking his way. He's also taking damage to the blue. That's actually going to hinder their potential push on this. But a nice start from Schiller here. If you're going to give a P90 to anyone on this team, it's Schiller. Give him it. He is accurate. He is deadly. But he's so low on health. If anybody sees him from the high ground, he's done.
Yeah, but to say, the smoke should draw the attention as well. Gets the opportunity to get 2 out. Now he should be able to get the med back on. How much ammo did he have left in that P90? I don't think he had a lot. Let's be careful. Hazard, that coach, the 4th player now, the sub-in, has the position, sees Twisted Minds as they rotate their way in. Don't get the spray, doesn't quite get the connection. Example, though, peeks his head on through. Has to be careful because he's juggling multiple teams now in this position.
Still an opportunity, still more points on the board here to try and rack on up. SKS not doing too bad for Schiller. Again, 4 are his. They're making a big push here for this after the knocks came down from Vitality. It's the perfect time to move. Oh, through the smoke! He sees the Levante on the distance here. I thought he might be on that foldable shield there for a second. Ducks back into the car for a bit more cover. MG3 versus this. And Batulin's on the other side, really shutting things down. Schiller takes down Hella My Bad. And this is going to be way more points for S2G. It's such an important game.
Schiller has the ammo as well. He's got an opportunity to get that secondary clip on. So he's okay. He denies the information being gained, pushes Levante to the outside now, has got the zone. Nemesis, though, has negated, I suppose, all those trenches on the west. And for our construction workers, they've been pushed to retreat back over towards this east side. So again, we can see Vardo just sort of neighboring here. So kind of 3 dangerous solos on the east. And the big powerhouses that is Twisted Minds and Nemesis remain on the west.
When does Twisted Minds take number 1? It's on the way, ominously, here for the rest of the teams, for the rest of the lobby. Schengen kind of hunkered down. And Twisted Minds are going to be right on top of him in just a second. Vard, though, gone here for construction workers. Only the 2 kills go their way, as well as placement. Schengen gone. Twisted Minds in number 1 now. Vitality here jumps Na'Vi into 2nd place, considering Na'Vi had a 30-point game. The fact that 2 teams have been able to move above them is eye-watering.
This is huge. This is huge. 22 points SCG. Now it's just trying to eke out the placements for Team Nemesis. So they know they can't go back. They have to try and deal the damage. There's one. So SD finds Levante. The MG hits. It hits pretty hard, but it's not going to be enough. The P90 hits better, though.
No
it
way.
hits 1. It hits 2. And it's going to be Team Nemesis potentially falling down. The final player and a potential gift here for day number 1 as Twisted Minds. They set their sails and they're closing out these teams.
Schiller, what a performance from him in this game. 750 damage, admittedly with a P90, it makes it a little bit easier, but you've still got to hit your shots. As for now, Nemesis, I think it's just so said, right? With the MG, with the M249. Schiller's gone. Twisted Minds knows exactly what they have to do now. So said, I don't think you're getting a triple this time around. It's gone. It's Twisted Minds back to number 1 here, Mark, for a PEC.
They needed it. They needed the Phoenix rises from the ashes.